Hello, Dr. Ian Beckingham from the Chronic Conditions Center in West LA and Glendale. I want to talk to you today about laboratory testing and tests that we do in this office that you might not have done in other offices. So let's get started with that. I have patients that come to me all the time with their lab tests because I tell them to bring everything in for the last several years, and they bring me a big stack sometimes. These lab tests, I'll say, I'm normal. What's going on here? I feel like crap, but I'm normal. What's going on? Well, let's explain what normal is according to laboratory AMA standards. Normal is anything in a range from here to here that is not disease range, okay? So if we have a test, we'll say the range could be 2 to 10. So 2 over here, 10 over here. And you are an 11. Well, you are outside those ranges, so you are lab abnormal and you are in the disease state. Okay. What happens between 2 and 10 and you're a 9.5? I guess you're not technically disease state, but you're pretty darn close to it. This range is called functional range. The functional range is on the inside of the laboratory range. The laboratory range, functional range. So if you're in here, that's functioning properly. Good function to the systems. If you're outside functional range, you're starting to show symptoms that will eventually lead to disease. So I like to catch things in functional range. But if you are outside functional range and already in disease range, I like to help people there too as well. So let's talk about some testing. First test I want to talk about here is the thyroid panel. Traditionally, from the 1960s model of thyroid care, patients go in to see their endocrinologist or their MD or whoever, and they say, I got these symptoms, my hair is falling out, I can't get rid of this weight that I'm gaining, things like that. They say, all right, that's fine, let's go get you tested. That's a great idea, I think also. Well, you go get tested, you only get one test, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. That comes back, they go, well, looks here like you're normal. I guess it's all in your head. Your hair's not falling out, it's all in your head. Well, that's not the case at all. We know it's not in your head. Something's going on to cause these symptoms. A true thyroid panel needs to have several more tests than TSH, or just T4. You need to have T4, T3, free T4, free T3, TPO antibodies, reverse T3, T3 uptake, FTI, a whole bunch of different indexes. And that will put all the pieces together of a puzzle. If I have a puzzle and I only have one piece, what's that puzzle picture going to be? I don't know. But if I start to put all those pieces together, well, then I'll start to see the picture of the puzzle. So again, doing TSH testing is one piece of the big puzzle. If you don't have the other ones, how do we know what's going on? So they're very important thyroid testing there. Another panel is a complete metabolic panel, blood work. We have equipment here at our office, software programs called blood chemistry analysis. This will take all your blood tests, we put them in the computer, and it spits them out again in a nice colored graph at what is functional ranges, the abnormal lab ranges for you. And we put pieces of the puzzle again together of what's going on. So we can take a closer look at the lab tests you've done in the past and lab tests you're going to do in the future. A closer look is very important, instead of just taking a big, vague look at the whole picture. We do a lipid panel. That's fats, cholesterol, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, triglycerides. They're all pieces of the puzzle. Did you know cholesterol can be directly affected by cortisol? So if you have a cortisol problem, you could have a cholesterol problem or a blood sugar problem. These are all intertwined. Then we do a CBC again. It's a blood chemistry, but this is a deeper blood chemistry. I want to see your iron levels. I want to see your vitamin D levels. These are all very important. Being low in vitamin D can cause all kinds of chronic conditions. I want to see what's going on with your homocysteine levels, CRP levels. These are indicators of inflammation. Most disease is inflammation based, okay? If you have high inflammation, you're going to have symptoms. If I have an inflamed ankle, it hurts. If I have inflamed knuckles, I have arthritic pain in my knuckles. So that's why inflammation markers are so important. Okay, then we do sensitivity testing. We do samples and then we send them to the lab and we find out that maybe you're sensitive to certain foods. Gluten sensitivity is a major one. Gluten is basically found in wheat. It's a protein found in wheat. Gluten sensitivity is 81%. 81% of Northern European descent. So think about that. You have an 81%, 8 out of 10 chance of being gluten sensitive if you're from German descent, English descent, who knows, those areas you're going to be gluten sensitive most probably. Gluten's in everything. Pizza, pasta, my salad dressing. I go to In-N-Out Burger and get the buns. So we have to really look at that. Other common sensitivities are soy, dairy, okay? We also do adrenal stress index. Very, very important test. Your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys. They make our stress hormones, they make adrenaline, they make cortisol, DHEA, all very important. When you're under a lot of stress, maybe you're working really hard, or maybe you're having financial issues, or maybe you're having problems at home, who knows? Everyone's got stress though. These adrenal glands release cortisol. Sometimes your cortisol levels can be too high because your adrenal glands are working too hard. Sometimes they can be too low. When they're too low, it's because your adrenal glands are just exhausted and they can't even put it out anymore. They just can't do it. There's actually 7 different stages of maladaptation of the adrenal glands. So we have to measure you there and find out which one of the 7 you are, and then work from there. If you have too much cortisol in your body, that can cause a whole host of problems. They can block receptor sites and screw up your thyroid hormones. They can make your insulin not working properly and lead to diabetes. It can lead to chronic pain. Cortisol levels are super important. That's why the adrenal stress index test is so important. And this test is easy. You take home a kit, you measure your saliva 4 times over the day, put it in a box, and mail it away. It can't get any easier than that. Next test, autoimmune disorder testing. We have to find out if there's something going on in your body where your body's attacking itself. Autoimmune disease. Chronic conditions are mostly autoimmune disease. Examples would be, again, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, pain all over your body, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, when you have both sides of the hypothyroid or hyperthyroid symptoms going on. Maybe you can't get out of bed, maybe your hair is falling out, maybe your heart's beating out of your chest. All these symptoms could all be a mishmash of what's going on. That's Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Odds are, if you have an antibody or you have one autoimmune condition in one part of your body, say your thyroid, you're going to have it to another part of your body. So that's very important to find out. There's a test coming out right now as we speak that can measure antibodies to several different parts of your body. We can measure your brain, we can measure your pancreas, we can measure your muscle tissues, we can measure your joints. We can actually almost predict if you're going to get an autoimmune disease to any one of these areas. Imagine if you knew that you had a chance that you could get MS. If you knew that, wouldn't you do everything you could possibly do to not get that? I know I would. So if we have a marker, an antibody to your own myelin factor, your own myelin sheath of your nerves, there's a good chance that you might get MS down the road. So let's not even let that happen. Again, catching these things before they happen is really the key, but there's still things that can be done when you do have these conditions. H. pylori. H. pylori is a real nasty little bacteria. It hides in your stomach, it hides out in your duodenum and your small intestine. This guy sits in there all day long and causes inflammation as your body fights him and fights him. All it does though is cause more destruction of the tissue. When we get that tissue destruction, we get inflammation in our guts. Our guts are so important. Besides digesting our food and our water, many hormones go right into receptor sites or are converted within our gut. If that's not working properly because of something as simple as a bacteria, then we have to find out about that and eliminate that bacteria. Intestinal permeability testing, again on the same lines as H. pylori. All right, here's how I like to explain it. Imagine from your mouth to your rear end is a tube. I know it sounds gross, but that's the only way we can describe this. That tube has to be super tight. You can't have any leaks in there. How well does your garden hose work out there if it's got water shooting out of it everywhere? That's what we can't have inside your gut. Unfortunately, with H. pylori or some other things, it could be parasites, it could be other antigens, who knows, bacterial infections. We got to find them. That starts to break apart the strength of your gut. And then it starts to open up and little microscopic particles of food start to then go inside your body. When that happens, your body says, whoa, what's going on here? And it sends out the soldiers to go kill what the strange thing is in the bloodstream. Well, now your body's all fired up and it's got many, many soldiers doing their job. Well, guess what else they're going to do? They're not going to stop there. They might start attacking something else in your body. That's when you get an autoimmune condition. These soldiers in your body, Th1, Th2 immune system things, start to go everywhere and attack different systems. That's what we can't have happening. So if you have a leaky gut, we have to find out, repair that gut, and prevent any of this from happening, okay? Neurotransmitters, brain chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, all very important chemicals. We have to measure these chemicals and find out if you're low or too high or what's going on there. All these chemicals work together in an orchestra. Just like an orchestra, you'd go here of all the instruments working together. All these chemicals work together in checks and balances and make sure everything's working properly. Every system in your body somehow has something to do with neurotransmitters to get it going. So we have to measure those levels and see where you're at. A lot of people are super low on GABA or dopamine, serotonin. Being low on some of these things can cause you to feel tired, can cause you to feel irritable, can make you not have pleasure in doing the things you used to enjoy doing. How many people have that symptom? You're not even able to have fun with your family at a dinner. What's going on there? It's not you. It could be a neurotransmitter problem, so we have to measure those. Hormone levels. I have many people come in my office with infertility. What's going on here? It's hormone imbalances a lot of the time. PCOS, who knows? We have to find out by measuring hormone levels. Everybody's got testosterone, everyone's got estrogen. What's the balance though? Is it too high, too low? We have to measure those hormones. There's other hormones we have to measure as well. So it's very important. A lot of these tests are very non-invasive. They can be done with saliva or stool. A lot of them you can take home. Other ones you go to a lab. It's very simple. And we give you the form and you go right on in and get it all taken care of. And then the results are sent to us and we sit down together and we go over them. And we go over them with a fine-tooth comb. That's the difference. We don't just look at lab abnormal and lab normal. We're really looking at the functional ranges again. And we're going to find out what's going on with you. Every patient's unique. And so that's why every lab test has to be unique to them. So I encourage you to come on into our office and we can talk more about this. You can come to one of my many talks. I do them every other week. I do them in West LA. I do them in Glendale. I do them in Beverly Hills Library. You can look at my website, drbeckingham.com. In fact, I encourage you to look there. You can look at some testimonials, some other videos. Maybe you'll see a list of conditions or things you possibly could have right now. I encourage you to make an appointment. Come on in for a consultation. I'll tell you what's going on. Most importantly, I'll tell you if I can either A, help you, B, not help you, so we don't waste each other's time. And I can send you somewhere that will help you. So, I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing you.